Michaela and welcome back to my channel. Today I decided to do something a little different. I thought it would be kind of fun to do an aspirational book haul. So I haven't actually bought any of these books. I'm in fact very much so on a budget, so I can buy 0 books at the moment. I decided, wouldn't it be fun to just make a bit of a list of some books I would buy right this second if I had the money to do so. So that's what we're going to be doing today. You know, just something fun and quick. Make sure if you have any aspirational books to pop them down in the comments down below. Maybe I'll add them to my aspirational book haul list. So let's get into it. As always, we have the notes. So the first one I'll mention is just the Percy Jackson, what? My tongue awake yet? Is the Percy Jackson and the Olympians series by Riordan. Is it Riordan or Riordan? I honestly don't know. I've been saying Riordan this whole time and now I'm doubting myself if it's maybe not actually Riordan and it's Riordan. Where's the emphasis? Anyway, I have been reading this series for the first time over the past few months. I still have the 5th book left to read, and I've been having such a good time with this series that I just really wish I owned it, because I just feel like it's also a series I'm going to want to reread, and that's something especially important for me. I do a lot of rereading. I love re-experiencing books that I already have enjoyed. So when I do enjoy something so much as I have been with the Percy Jackson series, it really makes me want to own it and have it on my shelf so that it's available to me anytime I want to reread them. This is also the same for the next book, which is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I read this through Libby via audio actually a few months back. I want to say in the fall. I haven't listened to an audiobook in ages. I think I'm just not really an audiobook person. I don't think it's the way to go for me, but that's not the point we're making right now. Basically, I read this book and I loved it, and it was the first time I've ever been reading something and have experienced a desire to annotate. I really wished I could have made notes and highlighted things in the book that I really loved, and that was never something I ever have thought about doing before while reading a book. I never have opened up and been reading a book and been oh wow, I really want to tab this, until I was reading that audiobook, because there's just some lines that I just absolutely adored in that book. And so I really want to own the hardcover of it so I can go back and reread it and put notes in it and stuff. That's why I want to own that book, you know? It's just, I want it. Okay. I also just want to own all of the Wayward children's series, just because the covers on them are gorgeous. And also I read them all in January and I loved them. And also, if I did own them, then I would actually have the latest book. Did I mention this is written by Seanan McGuire? Did I say Seanan McGuire wrote the series? This whole series is by Seanan McGuire. And Where the Drowned Girls Go, which is the 8th. No, sorry, I'm just totally right. Lost in the Moment and Found is the 8th book, I believe. I lost count. And it came out at the beginning of this year, and I haven't been able to read it yet because it's not available at my libraries through Libby, and I want to read it. And if I owned all of the series, guess what I could do? Read the latest book. You are 100% correct. That is why I want it. That is the plan. So the next few are actually books that are on my 23 books I want to read in 2023 list. They're on the list because it'd be much easier to read them if I owned them, but also they're on the list because they're some of the books I'm most excited to read and I want to read them this year. So they're pretty high up on the priority list of things I would like to own. First is Jade City by Fonda Leigh. Obviously I would like to own the whole trilogy, but at this point I'll settle for just having that first book. Why is it impossible to find the first book in hardcover? I just want it in hardcover. There's something about owning adult fantasy in hardcover that my brain enjoys, and I just don't want the paperback for it. I can't explain it to you. Don't ask me to explain how this thing works because I don't know. Okay, it's made that decision, and we have to roll with it. It will take no arguments. Then there is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is a book that has been on my TBR probably like the longest, and I just like haven't gotten around to it. And it's not that I'm like not excited to read it. I've just like had it in my mind that I'll read it when I own it. So I like haven't gotten it through Libby because I just haven't been wanting to read it as like an ebook. And I also tend to not be like just a regular fiction-y kind of gal. I know that like it is technically historical fiction, but when I go historical fiction, I usually read historical romance, and like much more historical than like what The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo is, which is still like the late half of the 1900s. So I don't really like categorize it as historical in my mind. And I find that I just like need to be like in the mood to read that genre of book more so than some other genres where I find I'm just always in the mood to read them. And because I don't like own the book, that makes it a bit hard to mood read it. So I would like to really read it. Also, like the covers for this book, every single one I've seen has been stunning. Mostly because I just like want to own a dress that is like that green color that she wears in the cover. Like I want to be that. I want to have that on my body. But I guess I'll settle for having the book. Next up, okay, we have Circe by Madeline Miller. Madeline. I'm really doubting pronouncing any author names today, but I read The Song of Achilles, I guess close to 2 years ago now, and I really enjoyed it, and I feel like I've seen even more people like Circe than people who like The Song of Achilles. I've seen so many people enjoy it that I just like want to have my little hands on it, and then I can like put it on my shelf next to my Song of Achilles book, and they'll look really cute together. Okay? That's the plan. That's the vision that is happening. Okay. Then we also have The Alloy of Law by Brandon Sanderson. Also, like I said, these books, all 23 books in 2023 list. Honestly, I feel like maybe at like the half point of the year sometime, I should like do a little check-in to see like how many of my 23 books I've actually read. That could be something fun. Let me know if I should do that. Or maybe I should just like wait until like near the end of the year, and then I just have to like force read like a bunch of things to try and reach my goals. Though that also does not sound fun. It sounds entertaining, potentially, but it doesn't really sound fun. Anyway, I want to read The Alloy of Law. This is like the first book in like era 2 of the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson. I have read all of the first era of Mistborn, and I'm really intrigued to read like the next era of it because it's supposed to be like kind of like Western. Ooh. Not enough room in this town for the two of us kind of vibes. And like I haven't read anything like that, but I do like Brandon Sanderson's writing just because it's really simplistic, really easily consumable. So it's like just such a like a quick read, and having like quick read adult fantasy is just such a nice relief. That's what I love in books, is like I come to them for escapism, so I don't really want to work too hard all the time in my reading. I do also like things that challenge my thinking and whatever, and like reading classics and it taking more time or all this kind of stuff. But sometimes like I just want a really quick fun read, and Brandon Sanderson is really good at producing exactly that. And so I want to start reading the next era of Mistborn because I feel like I want to read all of the Mistborn before I even try to attempt Stormlight, because those books are like big chonkers. Those books are bigger than my cat. I don't think I'm like mentally prepared for that yet. So I'd like to read era 2 of Mistborn, and then we'll see where we go from there. Yes. Also on the list, we have Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This is like... Here's the thing, I haven't seen, like, some people loved it, some people didn't, and then a lot of people, like, weren't huge fans of Hellbent now that it came out. But the thing is that, like, I want to read it so I can know, and also the black cover with, like, the snake, it's gorgeous, like, I just want it. And I already have, like, all of the Shadowbone trilogy, and I have the Six of Crows duology, and, you know, I just feel like I need to continue collecting my Leigh Bardugo books, okay? I know there's like The King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, is that the other two? But I feel like I'd want to read Ninth House first just because I read Shadow and Bone Trilogy and then I am reading the Six of Crows duology right now, and Six of Crows is so good, and I've heard that like the King of Scars kind of duology is like not as good, so I don't really want to be disappointed in the Grishaverse after being so like happy with Six of Crows. So maybe I'll just like pretend they don't exist and then like move right on to a different Leigh Bardugo series. Potentially. We'll just like blinders, you know? And just move straight ahead. The last book that I put on my list for, I mean there's so many books. I tried not to include continuing series I already own the first few books of because I feel like that was boring and obvious, but there's like a lot of books like that I'd like to buy, and there's plenty of other books that I buy right now. But I tried to narrow it down to some that I actually had reasons for other than like, oh, I want it, because like that seemed boring. Anyway, the last book that I put on the list is Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. And the reason I did this is because they've recently come out with new covers. And that sold me. I have read ACOTAR. ACOTAR is my beloved trash. It is guaranteed to give me a good time. Sarah J. Maas gives me, I am entertained. And that is what I go there for. And I was like interested in reading Throne of Glass because I've heard some people say that there's like more plot in it than ACOTAR, and that like some people think it's better. Some people think it's like, it's not because it's much more YA versus, you know, ACOTAR is more new adult to adult. But then it got new covers and I went, I think I'm sold in wanting to own this book now, because I thought the old covers, no offense to the old covers, but I hated them. I'm sure other people, you know, like love them, they think they're good, just the style of those covers, the old ones, not for me. And then they have new covers now, and the new cover I like. I want the new covers. They're speaking to me, and I can't explain why. So that is also on my list. I would say like the whole series, but like even Aspirational Michaela is not out here buying an entire series without reading a single book. I at least need to read one book before I decide to dive into that, okay? I'm not that willy-nilly, even with my pretend money in my brain. So there we go. That has been every book I'd buy if I had the money to buy them. My aspirational book haul, my book haul with no books that I hauled ever. I feel like this is such a dumb idea, but I just thought it would be kind of funny because I see people making book hauls and I just like I am hauling 0 books. So this is like something I thought would be fun to do. If you liked the video, make sure to give it a like, comment down below all of the books on your aspirational book haul. What book would you buy? Number 1 book would you buy right now if somebody like just gave it to you for free? What would it be? What would the book be? Choose wisely, people. You only get one. Also, if you like me, consider subscribing. I'd be happy to have you come back. Stick around. And with that, I guess I'm gonna say farewell, toodaloo, goodbye, arrivederci, multiple languages. With that, I shall say goodbye until the next one. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Bye-bye.